Welcome to our show, Trump Briefing. Today, we dive into the latest political drama as Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer has decided to postpone his book tour due to fierce criticism from liberal groups over his recent vote supporting a Republican spending bill. While Schumer argues that avoiding a government shutdown was crucial, the backlash from within his party is significant, raising questions about his leadership. In another shocking turn of events, Dr. Rasha Alawieh, a Brown University professor, was deported to Lebanon despite holding a valid U.S. visa. This incident, which occurred without a proper hearing, has sparked outrage among her colleagues and lawmakers, leading to calls for accountability from the Department of Homeland Security. A rally in support of Alawieh is being organized, highlighting the ongoing issues surrounding immigration enforcement. Lastly, we turn our attention to London, where protests against Elon Musk and Tesla are intensifying. Activists are rallying to boycott the car manufacturer, voicing concerns over Musk's political influence and his ties to far-right movements. As the protests gain momentum, Musk dismisses them as outdated political tactics, but the impact on Tesla's image and sales remains to be seen. Please stay tuned for more detailed coverage. The Toronto Star reports that Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer has decided to postpone his book tour amid backlash from liberal groups over his recent vote in favor of Republican spending legislation. The planned events in cities like Baltimore and Washington, D.C. were scrapped due to concerns for his safety, as protests were anticipated from discontented Democratic activists. Schumer defended his vote, calling the spending bill terrible, but argued that a government shutdown would have been worse, potentially empowering Trump to make further cuts to essential programs. This decision has sparked a rift within the Democratic Party, with House Democrats expressing their disapproval and emphasizing their unwillingness to be complicit in actions that could harm social programs. In another story from the Toronto Star, Dr. Rasha Alawieh, a Lebanese doctor with a U.S. visa, was deported from Boston just after her arrival, despite a judge's order to delay her return until a hearing could be held. Alawieh was set to start a position as an assistant professor at Brown University, but her deportation raised questions about the handling of her case by customs officials. The incident follows a series of similar deportations affecting foreign-born individuals with valid visas, highlighting ongoing concerns about immigration policies and enforcement. The situation has sparked outrage among her colleagues and calls for accountability from local officials, with rallies planned to support her return. The Independent covers the emergence of anti-Elon Musk protests in London, where a group called Tesla Takedown UK has organized demonstrations against the billionaire's political interventions. The protests, inspired by similar movements in the US, aim to boycott Tesla products and challenge Musk's influence on European politics. Protesters, including a former US National Parks employee, expressed solidarity with American activists, denouncing Musk's perceived alignment with far-right ideologies. Other groups, like Overthrow Musk, have taken to creating satirical advertisements and billboards to highlight concerns about Musk's political actions. These protests reflect a growing sentiment among some citizens that Musk's corporate power poses a threat to democratic values, with activists hoping to diminish his influence by targeting Tesla's sales. The Globe and Mail reports on a significant legal confrontation involving the Trump administration's deportation of Venezuelan gang members. A U.S. judge, James Boasberg, is demanding explanations from officials regarding the deportation of 238 alleged members of the Tren de Aragua gang, which occurred after he issued a temporary block on such actions. The White House, however, argues that the courts lack jurisdiction over the president's authority to expel foreign enemies under the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. This dispute raises questions about the balance of power between the executive and judicial branches, especially as Trump continues to push the limits of executive authority, with officials like border czar Tom Homan vowing to continue deportations regardless of judicial orders. The Independent shares a poignant story of Bradley Bartell, a Wisconsin man who voted for Trump, whose Peruvian wife, Camila Munoz, was detained by ICE upon their return from their honeymoon. Despite her ongoing green card application and clean record, Munoz was taken into custody due to an expired visa. Bartell, devastated and financially strained by legal fees, has started a GoFundMe campaign to help secure her release, highlighting the emotional toll and uncertainty faced by families under the current immigration policies. Advocates warn that the Trump administration's crackdown has broadened the scope of who is targeted, creating a chilling effect on immigrants. Deutsche Welle examines the challenges faced by Tesla in Europe, where the electric car manufacturer is experiencing a decline in sales and stock prices, contrasting with the overall rise in electric vehicle sales across the continent. The report attributes part of Tesla's struggles to Elon Musk's political affiliations, particularly his support for Trump and far-right parties, which have sparked protests and damaged the brand's image. Employees at Tesla's Berlin Gigafactory are increasingly concerned about job security, while loyal customers remain hopeful about the company's technological advancements. The narrative suggests that Musk should refocus on innovation rather than political engagements to restore Tesla's standing in the market. The Independent reports that Conor McGregor made headlines during his visit to the White House on St. Patrick's Day, where he passionately addressed the pressing immigration issues facing Ireland. The former UFC champion expressed frustration over the Irish government's inaction, stating that they have abandoned the voices of the people. He highlighted the detrimental effects of illegal immigration on rural towns and urged the 40 million Irish Americans to be aware of the situation, emphasizing the importance of maintaining a connection between Ireland and the United States. McGregor's remarks reflect a growing concern among Irish citizens about their government's priorities and the need for accountability. In a separate development, the Associated Press covered President Donald Trump's strong warning to Iran regarding the actions of Yemen's Houthi rebels. Trump explicitly linked the rebels to Iran, asserting that any further attacks would have severe consequences for Tehran. His comments came amidst a backdrop of escalating airstrikes targeting the Houthis, which resulted in significant casualties. Trump characterized the Houthis as sinister mobsters and accused Iran of controlling their actions. This warning underscores the tense geopolitical dynamics in the region and the U.S. administration's commitment to holding Iran accountable for its alleged support of the rebel group. Additionally, the Associated Press reported on Trump's visit to the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, marking his first appearance since reshaping its board to align with his vision for arts and culture. Trump has faced criticism for his approach, which some perceive as an attempt to steer the institution away from what he deems a liberal agenda. During his visit, he expressed the need to straighten out the Kennedy Center, highlighting his ongoing efforts to influence cultural institutions in the U.S. This visit reflects Trump's broader strategy to assert his vision on various fronts, even in the realm of the arts. The Independent reports on Joe Biggs, a former leader of the Proud Boys, who was released from a 17-year prison sentence after Donald Trump commuted his sentence. Biggs, who played a significant role in the January 6 Capitol attack, recalls a prison guard warning him that his release was not a pardon, leaving him feeling like a terrorist still. Despite being out of jail, he struggles with feelings of being a burden on his family and faces ongoing legal and financial challenges due to his felony status. Biggs, who once expressed regret for his actions on that fateful day, now claims he has no real regrets, blaming the media and Democrats for exaggerating the events of January 6. His story encapsulates the contradictions within the MAGA movement, as he continues to believe in Trump despite feeling abandoned by him. The article underscores the lasting impact of the Capitol attack, as Biggs grapples with his identity as a former Proud Boy and the consequences of his actions, all while the political landscape surrounding the event remains deeply polarized. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.